nice to see you. It's been so long since I went live last time. So wonderful to see you guys. Hello. I already saw Noemi and Dale. They were here before we started even. John Doe, wonderful. Nice to meet you. There might be a few more with your name now today. So really cool. New York City, Alabama, England. H.D. Harrison, hello. Someone from the Leer, it's a mutual Dutch guy. Yay. Woohoo. I'm actually not in Holland. I'm in Spain. I'm celebrating a little holiday. And just enjoying. It's pretty hot here. Sander Veenstra. Sounds pretty Dutch also to me. Really nice to see you guys. Someone from Oslo. Wow, it's so busy. Wonderful. Lovely, lovely, lovely to see you guys. I know it's been a while since I was live, and it's been also not very high on my priorities list to post a lot. But trust me, I'm still busy with my kinky life, and also with figuring out how I want it, when I want it, what I want, what we want, how to grow. There's changing in our relationship, and just learning all the time. More and more, meeting other people, which is really awesome. In a few months or in a few weeks, actually next week already, in a week, I'm going to give a few workshops on amongst others. One of them is confidence for submissives, and but then I'm going to give it live. It's in Denmark, so if you're from there, be welcome. I invite you. Let me know. I'll send you the link so you can buy your tickets. You can be there actually live and see me in person amongst a lot of other performers and kinky contributors, educators, teachers, whatever, you name it. So, well, what are we going to do today? Well, first of all, is there anyone here who doesn't know me at all? Didn't see anything? Would like to know a little bit more about me? Is it useful to put an introduction, or is that a little bit of a waste of time? And you say like, yeah, let's go dive right in all the content. What do you say? There's something. Otherwise, I'll just do a quick, you know what? I'm just doing a quick Finland. Woohoo! Just doing a quick introduction. My name is Sam Jones. But then the kinky version. People from my age know who Sam Jones was. She was Samantha Jones from Sex and the City, and she's a big example for me because she was really so free. She knew exactly what she wanted on sexual level and forever, and she didn't give a fuck about what other people said. And it took me some time to get there, but now I think I'm doing quite okay. So I decided to use her name in her honor, besides then the kinky version. And what I do is I'm in a power exchange relationship for over 6 years now, growing, evolving. I mainly explored my submissive side, but lately I also like to play a bit with my dominant side, which I really enjoy. That's not so much in a relationship, but more playful and just exploring kinky stuff. And yeah, there's also a lot of things changing. I mean, in me, in the relationship, in where we go. So it's exciting. Anyway, I totally believe that there is a lot to learn, and I'm just curious, what would you like to learn today? What is there that you would say like, wow, this is something that I would really like to know? I got already one question, so I'm going to answer that also in the end. And but is there anything that you said like, oh, I have really an urgent, burning question? How do I? Yay, little Fred! Thank you. That's so nice. Wonderful to see you. Some people we go back for quite a while. She's one of those. That's really cool. Need to slow down a bit. I'm very excited and hot. Not the good type of hot. It's okay. It's okay. I didn't put up any makeup even because I'm afraid they will all like go like this. So I'll just be my radiant self. That's it. So anyone, nobody who's having a very specific question, then it's totally fine. We're just going to do my program. So what I'm planning for today is, first of all, I've been asked to work together with over. Oh, that's a wonderful question, Juha. How to let go and be a better submissive? That's a wonderful question. I'm going to keep that. Let me, because that's a wonderful question. How to let go and be a sub. And I'm going to put the question that I got also. Wonderful, thank you. So this is what the evening is going to look like. So first of all, I would like to give you an introduction, and I'm going to tell you a lot about my vision on what is power exchange, how do you start it, what's a submissive, what's the dominant, how does it look like, can anyone be one, that kind of question. So they're like the really, what do you need to start power exchange relationship? Do you really want a power exchange relationship, or do you just want to have kinky sex? I mean, there are so many possibilities. I'm going to dive into all of that. Yeah, really, I'm sweating. How can I deepen my submission? Brilliant question also. I have a wonderful, I'm going to answer that. I've got some really nice. Now, the other thing is, what I just started is I got asked by, she's called Alessandra from Domsub Living. She's in a power exchange, a 24/7 total power exchange relationship. And then she's also having a channel, Domsub Living, not a YouTube channel, but she's having a very, very huge mailing list and blogs and everything. And she's doing every year, she invites a lot of kink educator teachers to contribute something, and we created an epic, really epic bundle. So we're just giving something. What I put in it is, which might be really nice for Juha and Graveyard Ghost, for sure, is a training on submissive confidence. So that is how to increase your confidence. By the way, it's not just for submissives, but well, my experience teaches me that most of the submissives really want it, especially men, by the way, are very interested in that, who are really looking for, what do I have to offer? Is there anything that I can find? So that's what I have to offer in the 30 products, everything. So that's something that you will hear every now and then also. Thank you so much, Rex Felix, LX, YX. What's that? 9, that's a long time ago. 1969? 69. It's 69. Thank you. I'm a switch, but I don't know how to feel comfortable taking the power role. I know practice would help at any point. I definitely do. Tips for being a switch and taking the other role. That's a fantastic one. Yeah, that's the question. And it's something that I struggled with a bit also in the beginning. By the way, it really helps to practice it with another partner that you're doing the submission to, because that I found that might be pretty confusing, but that makes it at least a lot easier. But let's get into that. I'm going to keep the questions for because I would like to share also a bit of what I have to give. But anyway, what you do know now is that I'm going to answer a few questions: how to let go and be a better sub, how can I deepen my submission. One of the questions I got up front is how to find an experienced dom, and another question is tips for being a switch and taking the other role. So I'm going to look into that also later on. What I would like to do is start with talking a bit about the submission. Okay, now let's see. In principle, we have to go there. Yes, what is power exchange? Okay, now it gets interesting, because I think most of you know what power exchange is. So I'm just curious. Can anyone tell me what do you think? What is power exchange? What is it for you? And is there a difference in power exchange and a power exchange relationship? Because we're all talking about it, but what is it? And why would you want it? That's a good question too, huh? Of course, I need to wait a bit for your questions, because usually there is some kind of delay. So I'm I'm telling something, you see that like 30 seconds later, and then you have to enter the question and then and enter your answer, and then only then I can see it, and then I can react on it. So it takes a bit, but that's okay. So, well, let me just give me submission is giving up some or all control to the partner. Yes, well, that's about giving up some or all control to the partner. Yeah, and that it's very connected to a power exchange. Usually in power exchange, you have a submissive partner, and you have a submitting partner, and you have a dominant partner, which means the submissive partner is giving up some or all control to the partner. That's absolutely true. So in a way, what it means is that something that you have power over, you give it up. And if you think that vanilla people don't have power relationships, you're wrong. Ping, ping, excitement of the day. Power exchange is responsibility shifting to another. That's a really wonderful explanation. I like it. Thank you. What I'm saying is that there's usually, feeling submissive as a mother. Can you talk about this a little more? Oh, yeah. That's a wonderful one. I have experience with that one too. I will talk about that too. Thank you and welcome. So if you're in a vanilla relationship, you'll see, I don't know how many of you have experience with vanilla relationships, but I was in vanilla relationships until I was 38 or so. And also we had quite some, there's just a few things, and you don't even have to talk about it, but there's one of you who is making the decisions and who's deciding. For instance, there's in some of my relationships, there's one person who's always driving. There is also one person who is the main responsible one for the kids. It doesn't say that the other one is not doing stuff for kids, for instance, but when it comes to an end, then I was usually, when with my kids, I was the one deciding in the end. I was making the end decision. But it can be for cooking. It can be for the very traditional roles, who is hanging up the shelf, who's fixing the tap, that kind of stuff. So in a way, we always have this type of relationship. The difference is what we do if we have a power exchange relationship, and especially if we decide together to have a power exchange relationship, is that we decide that there are certain areas in our life when one of us is leading and one of us is following. So one of us is making the decisions. Now, how it started with me is I started out purely on the sexual level. It was purely for sex. Just in the bedroom, nothing else. So we decided to follow up on that, and we played a lot with that. And that was actually, because we were on a distance, that was quite easy. So it meant that I couldn't touch myself, I couldn't play with myself. For sure, I couldn't orgasm without asking. So that was our power exchange, and that was very, very, we talked about it. We talked about what we wanted and what we didn't want. We talked about limits and everything. So that's all part of what is a power exchange. I'm getting into that later. Oh, some tips for an online sub-dop relationships. Any ideas for stuff to do, anything else? Well, you have a whole channel crowded crap with all kinds of stuff, because this is my relationship and I'm posting stuff on that for 2 years now. So there's a lot. So you're going to enjoy yourself. Villain. Ideas for online. Yes. So, well, if you think it's not possible, it's for sure it's possible. We're doing it for 6 years now and it still works. I always tend to say that this is for we're the living proof that it works and that it can absolutely work. So power exchange can also be in other areas of your life. Now, to do it very simple, it can also be like how you get dressed, what you eat. It depends completely on the type of relationship, and I'm going to dive into that further. So let's just say that for power exchange, what it means is that you decide together, because that's important. You decide together at one point that one person is leading and one person is following. Now I'm talking about power exchange relationship. That's when it happens in a relationship, right? You decide that someone is having control, and that can be in a certain time. It can be for an evening of play. You're the rigger and the other one is the bunny. That means that he's going to tie you, right? Or she's going to tie you. There is many female riggers as well. So, but that means that you can decide who's in charge. It doesn't mean, by the way, that if you're doing bondage that you're actually in power exchange, but it does mean that you have control, but you have to trust someone. And I'm going into that too, because that's also really important. Normally, when I'm talking about power exchange, I'm talking about the power exchange relationship. So that's more for the longer term. So what is submission? If we're talking about power exchange, then what is submission? Because it sounds very easy, right? And it's interesting because I get quite a few questions from men. Somehow this happens a lot with men. Maybe that's because I'm a woman. I'm not sure, because there might be also women who think like that, but I didn't meet them yet. But I got quite a few requests from men, and all they say is just, I want to be abused by you. I want to serve you, ma'am. I want to worship you. Well, here's the thing. I know that submission is in you, that you might want to submit. But submission is, and you can submit and you can explore your submission for sure. I mean, I have a year program where you can explore your submission. So there is a lot to explore alone. But if you want to explore submission in a relationship and you want to really submit to someone else, there is someone else also involved. You cannot just decide one-sided that you're going to submit. So that's also submission, but submission is something that you can definitely explore alone. Now, that's also the good thing. There is a lot in that. I need my notes. Where I totally just started and I totally forgot on talking about it. So what I was saying is that in the is it possible to play alone? Yeah, you can. So there is, as a submissive, there is possible in the wow, I'm so distracted. I'm sorry, guys. The bundle that we're offering, you can work on your confidence. There is a session in 30 days of submissive exploration. There's a self-tying course in it even. So there's a lot for you to explore in that one also. But what is submission? It's what I found out, as at least for sure, is that there is a lot of difference also in submissives. For instance, I'm really not the submissive I'm not a brat, for instance, but I'm also not someone who is all the time just doing what I'm told and immediately following up orders. That's difficult for me sometimes. And that's a struggle for me, because in one way, I want to trust him and I want to decide this is, and there are parts in our lives that we decided on. I'm submissive, I'm submitting to him. We have what we call it a master apprentice relationship. So it means that I'm an apprentice. He's learning me, he's training me. So that's our type of relationship. So yeah, exactly. That submission to me is choosing to follow another directions up to a certain point. And that's interesting, up to a certain point. And that's something the point is that you cannot know that upfront, everything that you're willing to do. So you will be confronted. And sometimes you're confronted because there's something in you that's just blocking you. It's something to work on. But sometimes it's also because you hit a limit that you didn't know that existed. And there should be a place for that. And that needs to be the time that you are discussing and that you're going to have a close-on discussing again. And you're talking about it like, this is really not what I want. Because what I also found out is if you're... listen, Vilad, there's tons of videos about it, but I'm giving my my YouTube live, so I'm not going to give you tips now. You'll have to wait for that. Okay, I'm going into that in the end of the session, so that will be in about half an hour. Yeah, it's fine, but I saw your question, so it's on my list to talk about it. And I realized that I find it hard to read the comments and still be focused on what I have to say. Oh, you learned this from me. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole thing. You change. I mean, I'm 45 years old now, and it means that I'm getting, I think we're calling it in English called perimenopause. So it's the phase before menopause. Something happened with my sex drive. I had a sex drive like I could have sex 3 times a day. And now 3 times a month is fine. I'm praying that it's gonna go, and when we're together, it's just. But you can understand that the changes a lot in our relationship, and that changes a lot in how we connect, in how our play changed, in what we want. We really needed to renegotiate to find out what we actually want, what change what we still want. I mean, the fun thing is that at one point I said, I'm not so interested in the pain play anymore, and I'm a serious masochist. And then 2 minutes later, we started to play with something. I was like, hit me, hit me, hit me. How would I know? It's something that I needed to figure out, and that's something really to take into account. People change, which is the fun also from a relationship, and that's also why I think it's worth it to spend decades together. And that's why I think that DS is so awesome, because there's so much to explore all the time, and it creates so much safety and trust and vulnerability, and so it creates this perfect safe space to talk about it and to keep it like this. So John Doe, brilliant question. I'm going to add that too. Where's the questions list? Here. I have a great question. Clara, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to block you by now. Bye-bye. So I'm really not interested in people telling me to take my clothes off. This should be a safe space for me too. And this is my space, so my house, my rules. Just so you know. Okay, now what is dominance? That's a whole different question. Are there any dominants in the room? I'm very curious. What would you say? What is dominance? Dominance. Because dominance can be in play, right? Then you're the boss, you're in charge, you decide what happens if the submissive, the one that submitted the bottom, is approving that for that moment. But what does it mean? And what is dominance in a relationship? How does that look like? What do you think? You're welcome. And you will see always, little threat, you said, thanks for blocking that spammer. I just see that coming in. You will see that there will never be a negative comment in my videos, because I think it's so important to keep a safe space. And that's one of the things that's very important, especially with our consent, with our topic also, that I really want it to be a safe space. Dom, Moses, welcome. And thank you. You're a Dom. Confidence, that's wonderful. Yeah. Although I know quite a few Doms who are not so confident. They want to be, but you don't need the confidence. It's nice and it's something that grows on you. But in the beginning, it's hard to... but you know why you need the confidence? Okay, here's Vilad. I'm a Dom, and I find dominance as being completely in control. It's like taking what you need when you will. I will always give myself what they need when they need it as well, because they come first. That's fantastic. And that's exactly, well, at least it's how I look at it. Because what many submissives don't understand, and that's why I think that's so important to at least once switch, because it's a freaking big responsibility to be a dominant to a submissive. And I think a submissive might underestimate that every now and then. So it's not just making decisions. It's It's about giving them what they need, like Violet just said. It's about making sure that they grow. So, and that's the good thing, huh? They're not getting what they want. As a dominant, you're responsible for giving what they need. So if they need something that they don't want, you're still going to take the responsibility to give them what they need. And that, for that you need a bit, and for that you need a bit of confidence, because you need to be confident enough to dare to give them what they want. So that to me is very, very, yes, the responsibility is too much for me. I run from it. Yeah, and it's something that you need to grow into, and it might be that it's not for you, and which is also totally okay. Yeah, love it. You have to set rules and limitations as well as giving rewards when you sit fit. You always learn what the submissive finds enjoyable and give it to them in your own way. I was limited by the chat. Thank you. Yeah, it was so funny because I had I'm friends with what's her name? That's a bit pathetic, right? That I say that it's that's it. Yeah, building submissive confidence. Absolutely, that's definitely one of the things that Doms are that Doms love to do that. What I found out is that we think that the dominant is in control, but in a way, the dominant you're a good dominant if all you want is to see your submissive shine, flourish, explode, just like grow, expand. That's the word what I'm looking for. So, and that's the type of dominant that you will be looking for. You don't want, if you're free and you're single and you're looking, because one of the questions that I got, if you're looking for an experienced dom, it's not so much the experience what you're looking for. What you're looking for is someone who gives you what you need. So he will put your needs first before his needs. And that's what you need to have before you can give their trust. Finally, you teach them to behave and always continue to teach them. There isn't an end, but there should always be a good. That's my end, I think. Yeah. By the way, teaching them how to behave, that's something that's discussable, because that's not for any relationship. In our relationships, really not a thing. It's not going to work. To him, it feels really like micromanagement, and he is so not into micromanagement. But I know that there are a lot of dominants and a lot of submissives who love that. Then they're, for instance, they're more into the service. There's nothing bigger for, we do have service things, right? I mean, I can have like the responsibility that when I'm with my dom, I need to provide him drinks. No, but that's totally fine. I understand that. So you said like, sorry, that's my relationship. I should have that. And that's why what I love so much about the power exchange, because it's different for anyone. Subgrowth and security and trust, negotiation and communications for both partners, definitely. And that's also something that many people realize, that also as a dominant, you need to trust your submissive as much as she needs to trust you, because you need to be able to trust her, for instance, that she will use her safe words, that she will give you her limits, because you're a human being, and human beings are not very good in reading minds. I don't know about you, but I'm very good in assuming stuff, which is kind of sucks. And I wish it was better and I would check it more. But that's what it is. And that's why you also need to take responsibility as a submissive. And that's why it's also so important to have confidence as a submissive, but it requires confidence to be able to say what you want, and especially to say what you don't want. And there's many women, especially women, who are very afraid to say no. There is many, and it's especially for people who are people pleasers. We don't want to hurt someone. We want someone to be nice. For me, it's important that someone admires me, that he's proud of me. There is not, Moses, thank you so much for being there, ciao. That there is, I'm just going to put the link in the chat. So if you want, you can find the bundle there. I mean, it's 99 euros, really a no-brainer. Just, I'm going to talk more about it, but if you really need to go, just click on it and you'll see it. I'll post it later on. Anyway, the thing what I was saying is that it's a mutual agreement, and that's what's so powerful about the power exchange. I think you have to talk about it. You have to talk about what you want, and you have to build up that confidence to be able to say what you want and what you don't want. I'm a people pleaser. I wasn't good at saying no, and my master was struggling with that because he couldn't find out how to be sure that I really wanted what I said that I wanted. And so he taught me how to say no. So what he did is he put me in a certain situation that I could take for a long time, but I couldn't take so long. I mean, there should be an end, but I couldn't hurt myself. So what he did was he put me on a rope, on a harsh rope, on a knotted rope, and then pulled it up. So I was hanging there on my toes until I said no, and it took more than half an hour. I was more than half an hour on my toes. You have no idea. And you can do what your submissive needs and still have the full confidence of a dom. That's a perfect relationship, in my opinion. Yeah. Well, I don't believe in perfect. I don't think it's even desirable perfect, but it depends on your definition of perfect, right? So a perfect, it's because it's perfect for you. Because for me, but that means I think I say that because for me, perfect means that there's no room, there's no space for growth anymore. And growth is what I need. I need growth. So if there's no growth in a relationship, it's not for me. And I think that's why power exchange fits me so well, because I need the growth. And that's why I'm very good. That's wonderful. I'm very good in a relationship where I can grow. And that's why master apprentice fits me so well. Where did it's not going so fast. Okay, well, this is a good way because I wanted to talk about different ways of filling in a power exchange relationship. Well, I have a master apprentice relationship, so that means that he's the leader and I'm the follower. There's many different ways. There is daddy little girls, where the little girls or the princesses are like really treated by daddy. Like it's about stuffies and colors and unicorns, and because that's what they both want. And don't underestimate the vulnerability in that, because it's pretty vulnerable to dare to be a little girl with someone. And as a dom, you need to create a safe space, a sacred space where she can be that little girl, which is this is such a huge gift. Don't underestimate it. So if you ever meet a dom, a daddy dom, well, most daddy doms are super proud of their little girls. But I had once a conversation, said like, listen, I'm a daddy of a little girl and I'm not sure that I'm doing what I can. And yeah, sometimes I would really like to have like a sex slave or more this type of relationship. But it really didn't fit him. And it was just a cuddle bear, and he was just, and he could be very firm. And he let her write the lines, right? As a punishment. And so they fit it. You will create the relationships that fit you. So don't worry if you don't find exactly your type of relationship. If you look online or whatever, this is something that you shape together with your other half, if you have a partner. And it's also something for yourself to explore. For sure, if you want to have exploration about what you like in the bedroom, then I would suggest go download the kinks list. But for now, I would say just go to the kink, grab the kink bundle, because there is so much in it. You'll have anything for you. Okay, now let's go quick into what's a few basics that we really need. I already talked about limits and safe routes. I don't believe in no limits. I don't think it's possible. I do think it's possible to build up into it, that there will be a relationship where at one point the dom will have that will have enough confidence to be able to feel what the submissive does. But the point is that people change, and there can be, for instance, I'm a huge pain slut. I can take a lot of pain. Well, maybe not now, but until a year ago for sure. And I could take a lot of pain. I'm talking a lot. And needles, Tabasco, combined, sandpaper, and then a lemon, anything. I love it. However, at one point, I had a day and I wasn't feeling well, but I didn't know. I was a bit tired, and we played, and I had a lot of fun. And my master brought candles, and we did some wax play, which for me is like, it's warming up. It's really not special, and I couldn't take it. You won't know. You will never know. You will not be able to know. So just remember that no limits, no matter how much you talk about, I don't believe in it, and I don't think it's healthy. I think the submissive has a responsibility to have always, always, always be able to tell their dom what they can have and what they can't have. So, and that's something that's, I can't emphasize this enough. Responsibility is not just for the dominant, there's for the submissive as well. Yeah. Wonderful, Vilad. I have that kind of relation. I want to give her everything, though I feel weird getting called daddy. So she calls me master. I call my master. But every now and then we get playful and I call him daddy. But that also feels a little weird. And I would never say that in public. So I didn't say that now, huh? Yeah, wonderful. I sometimes wish I knew what my sub was thinking for that reason alone. It seems like she enjoys something and all of a sudden I lure she got taken. Yeah, exactly. And that's something, that's something that's it builds up. And that's especially when you're playing online, because you say you're playing online every now and then. This is something that you really need to be very careful about, because if you're together, it's easier for you as a dominant. It's very simple. For instance, one tip that I can give you that works very good for us is we have a pussy check. If we're playing online, also nowadays we also, when we play live, if you're playing online, he just asked me for a pussy check, and I need to give him 2 numbers. One number is my physical pussy check, and I actually need to check my pussy. So I tell them how wet I am. And the second number is how wet I feel in here. So there is 2 things that I need to tell her. And that, at least it's very simple for if you have if you're talking about it and you're already starting with those 2 numbers, you already have a point of conversation. And later on, what I would always do, also what we always do, my master always makes me report about what happened. And that gives him an insight in what I felt afterwards. So that helps him to get to know me better. And it helped him to get to know me how I think. Because even if she tells me, then exactly, just not ask a question about what just happened, really report, go into it. Yeah, what you'd like to try next. I would not do that after finishing a session, because you're very high on endorphins and whatever is there. That I wouldn't do, but that's something that I would do for later on. But definitely just talk and stay in because especially what I would like to do is stay in the moment. Just stay like, how do you feel now? And then later, because I write my report usually later. So first I have my aftercare, I sleep, and only then because I need to sleep always after that. After that, I wake up and I get something to drink. Then I'm writing a report. And I'm writing a report because we're usually online. If we're together, I do that, of course, face to face. That's much better. But then it's very simple. What you do is, if you're face to face, the thing that you don't want to do is interrupt. It's her process or their process. So what you do is you ask a question, she talks. And you only start talking when she's done talking. Then you go. That's your space. And then now you can interact, but just make an agreement with yourselves that when one is talking, we use the word say ho. That means I'm done. Aho. It's like from Indians or something. I don't know, something spiritual. I'm not very familiar with that, but it works for us. So, and that really helps also to create that safe space, that anything is possible, that anything is allowed to say, that there's nothing wrong with what she feels. That gives you a lot of insight. So that's about limits and safe words. And again, let me say that again, you can talk about limits and you can put everything in a contract, and still there can be new limits. There can be limits that you never thought would ever appear. There can be a limit because you never thought about it, because you didn't know that existed. That's possible too. I mean, there's so much to play, seriously. I have stories. I'm not going to go into that because it's already 40 minutes into the session. I'm just enjoying it so much. Now, if you want to build up a power exchange relationship, I love to start with rules and rituals, because it can start really, really simple. If you're starting, it doesn't have to be very complicated. You can just, and if you find it if you're a dominant and you're wondering how you would start, this is where I'll always would start. I would start with the submissive. So give them assignments. Just give them for a week in a row or 2 weeks in a row. You give them every day a different assignment. And the assignment is always as follows. The assignment is, give me at least 50 different types of impact play. Yeah, and it needs to be challenging. Not just 10. That's too easy. 50. And then put them in the order that you would like them to be executed. And there's also a few extra questions that I ask with this type of things. First of all, is this for real life or is this a fantasy? Because there's quite a few things that I would love to have. Bukkake. Oh, I would love that. 50 men around me, all orgasming over me. In real life, I'm not so sure if that's really, really, really interesting. I don't know. And it's not not going to happen because my master would never let me. But in fantasy, ooh, that's some wild dreams for me. So that's something that I would put in there too. Next one is, how scary is this for you? Because that's fun to play with, huh? I'm into the mental play as well, so I really like to know. But I want to know because it gives me insight about what the other person wants and what scares them. And after they finish the list, you talk about it. What is it that scares you about it? What is it that you get so excited about it? And then you just put in a no-go or ever. And you just do that for impact play, for pain, humiliation. You can come up with pretty much any topic. Normal rituals in life. Would you be interested in normal rituals in life to enhance our dominance, our power exchange relationship? What would be 50 different ways how you would see that happen? You don't have to come up with all the ideas. The best ideas are in the head of your submissive. Don't work so hard, people. See yourself as a personal trainer. If you think of any personal trainer you ever met, who's working the hardest? It's not the personal trainer. It's the one being trained, right? That's how it's supposed to be. Rules is something that depends on your limits and safe words, and if you need them or not. We don't have a lot of rules, but we have the rules that we have are in the bedroom. You cannot touch yourself. You cannot orgasm. And sometimes he gives me a week, and then he says you can orgasm whenever you want. No, then there's a different rule, and that's changed. For us, the relationship is a lot about growth and purpose, power exchange. And I think it's I didn't meet all of the doms and subs in the world, but I think it's for many of them, it's like that. That's what they love. They love to grow together and they love to explore together and they love to grow in a direction that will make them bigger as a person. So that's important for them. So that's also what you want to have. Let me see. So I'm now taking a little break for I love taking the responsibility of asking for what I want, depending on how I'm feeling that day. I learned how finally. Thanks to you. Oh, thank you. That's wonderful. Exactly. And you know what? This is making you both happy. I never met a dom. I never met a good dom. And that's what I say. A dom will always go first for what you need. If you are going to play and you're playing something that you are really into that day, that's so much more fun for both of you. So I always say, like, please, just have your submissive as much in the game as you want. I thank you, Rex Felis. It was wonderful to have you here. Do you have algorithm problems with low comments and likes from people afraid their likes would show your videos on their liked videos and on the main stuff? I don't know. I can't tell you. I was actually thinking that because most of my content is 18 plus, so people need to be logged in. So that will be a problem with this. No, I didn't. I don't know. I don't know how big my channel would be otherwise, but I didn't post a video for 2 months. And it's still for 3 months. And every month my channel is growing with 1,500. So it's not so relevant for me. I just want to share what I have to share. And if you don't like it or you don't comment, it's fine. I just want to share you with you what I think is important, because I think it's valuable what I have to say to the world. I hope that's not very arrogant. I just think that that it's good that these topics are being discussed. That list of impact play sounds so fun. Oh yeah, I have more of those lists. Yeah, I mean the training program that I made for submissives, it's for guys, but that's really cool. I mean, it's, if you really want to send me a message, I'll see if I can, what I can do for you. There's all that kind of list in it. My friends needs me. Sadly, I must leave. Have a good day. Oh, that's a shame, but we'll see. And anyway, this is still up, huh? Until Tuesday. So make sure that you watch it when you're back, and buy the bundle, please. It's valuable. I mean, there's other educators that are really awesome too. There's so much fun content. One of the videos that I saw is that one of the trainings is how to do impact play without leaving marks. That's interesting, no? I'm definitely curious about that. There are a few of them that I was like, ooh, what's that? So I'm also going to look into it. Anyway, where was I? Welcome, Paul. Yay! Oh, Joe, that's so nice to hear. Thank you for sharing. Now, let's say something about playing. There's a difference between a power exchange relationship and playing, because playing means the kinky sex. There's a lot of people who are totally into kinky sex, and they're not interested in a power exchange relationship. They're not interested in giving away power, and that's totally fine. And there are a lot of people who are into power exchange. I don't think so, actually. I was going to say there might be people who are into power exchange who are not into playing, but usually those type of people, they get interested and they find out what's possible every now and then, and they're like, ooh. And I know many people who are not a masochist, who are not into pain play, but there are so many other types of playing. And then it's not about it's not so much about bondage. For sure, it's something that's very interesting for a lot of people. But if you're not into bondage and not into and you're not a masochist, there is still a lot of fun that you can have in power exchange. My one of my friends, she has a male submissive, and they don't have a sexual relationship. He's cleaning her house. He's her maid, so to say, and it makes him totally happy. And they're both very fulfilled with that type of relationship. So no need to feel awkward about your type of relationship or that you want. I think power exchange is and for sure, I think the way that the power exchange relationship is shaped, there's so much to learn for any couple. Talking about what your limits are, talking about your desires, talking about how to make each other grow. How awesome is that? I anyway think that for once, taking charge in the bedroom, just to try, and for once having your partner taking charge in the bedroom and see what happens and how you like it, it's so powerful for anyone. Now, do you need a relationship to explore your submission or your dominance? No, you don't. You can totally do that alone. As a submissive, to be honest, as a dominant, I didn't find really a way. I think it's really hard to explore your dominance alone. What you can do is you can learn skills. I mean, whipping, that's an art. It's gorgeous. I just bought this. I have it somewhere there. I can't find it there. But it's like 1.5 meters, and it's a crop whip. It's a whip, but it's a long one. It's a tail whip, it's called, I think. I don't know. I don't remember. It was expensive. And it's so nice. But you flick it. So it means that you have like that sound. And it's what they do when they ride horses in a carriage, and they do it above their heads. But now you do it against the back of someone or some other places. That's awesome. It's an art. That's something that you can learn. That's definitely something that you can work on. But that's not what's going to make you a good dominant. Where your dominance starts is with yourself. So if you're looking to explore your dominance alone, then I would start to do Start with yourself. Work on your confidence. Find out who you are, what makes you tick. And because mostly what happens if DOMs don't manage to set up that real dominance is because they're doubting themselves. And because of that, they're over reacting and they don't dare to be vulnerable because a dom makes mistakes because it's a human being, so it's allowed to make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with mistakes, and there's also nothing wrong with admitting that you made a mistake. So that's where it starts. Anyway, if you want to explore your submission or your dominance, I highly recommend to buy this kink bundle. There you go too. I'm egalitarian as fuck. Once the scene is over, so is that. So once the scene is over, so is the power exchange. Does that yuck the yum for my sub play partners? I don't think so. It's a good question. And I don't think so. And probably your partners. That's what I say. There's a difference between playing and playing partners. If you're playing for once, I mean, I know many people are just going to clubs and they play together just to enjoy the kink and just to enjoy the bondage, exploring. There's lots of things to explore, and they're totally fine with that. I would say ask them and be very clear about what you can deliver or not. That's not so complicated, I think. So I don't think I would be very bothered about that. Okay. It is a good moment. We have 69 viewers now, right at this moment. And so let's go into a few of the questions that I got. By the way, buy the bundle in the meantime because you want it. Just go there and have a look. And I forgot to say, if you buy one, send me the receipt and you get something. You get a half an hour with me. I'm going to give away half an hour talk with me where you can ask me anything. Just notice that if as soon as I feel unsafe because you're doing something that I really don't like, it's off and you're never going to get back. That's just so you know, that's for my own safety. But I love to help you out with any type of question. So I'm going to try to I think that this offer is already worth the $99 anyway. So I would just all buy it. But if not, I thought it was for me as a nice opportunity to have a chat with other people. Because for instance, Little Threat, can you buy it, please? Because I would love to talk with you for half an hour. This is just my... anyway, would be cool. It's just nice to see a few of the people behind the other side of the screen. If you feel comfortable, we can go on Zoom. I will be in the picture, and you can choose if you want to be in the picture or not. And you can change your name and anything. It's not... it's very, very safe in that sense. Okay, how to let go and be a better sub? Great question. That would be fun to talk to you. Well, I would love to see you there. How to let go? I believe that letting go is it's the most vulnerable place that you can be. And the reason why some people have trouble to let go is similar to why some people have trouble to orgasm. It's because they don't dare to surrender into it. And for surrendering, it needs trust. And that's scary. And that's something that you need to build up. And I thought that trust is in the relationship. So you need to trust your partner. But it's more about trusting yourself. And for that, I also can recommend the confidence training. It's 2 hours, but that was wonderful. Thank you, Johnny. So surrendering is... what in there really helps is what will give you more trust if you find out that your partner is listening to you. And for that, you need to trust that whatever you say is okay. So you can build it up together. Even when it is in you, your partner can still help you build it up. So what you do then is talk. Talk. I don't care if that will get you out of the space, but this is how you're going to get there, I think. What happens is, if you're having a trouble surrendering, one thing that happens a lot is that you want it so bad that's going to stop you. Just allow yourself to let happen whatever there is and find that relaxation in you. That's one. Then talk with your partner about what's going on. Just tell him, I find it scary to surrender at this moment. Could you give me a few moments? Can I get a breath in between? Something like that. And you'll see that your dom will so be willing to give you that. If you're looking for that submissive space, submissive headspace that you want to get into, that gets you calm, quiet in the moment. I have a video here somewhere. It's called the Submissive Mantra. It's actually also one of the workshops that I'm giving, and that was last year. It was the one that people loved the most. And in that workshop, I'm giving you how to create your own submissive mantra. I will ask them if they will record it for me, because I think that would be interesting. But that would be interesting. So create your own mantra. But you can use mine as an example and then create yours, or you can just use mine to get into the space, really. Let me see. How come there's not much in book form so you can read it and see if you like or want this lifestyle? There's a lot in books. The problem is how to find them. It's actually a good idea to do a video. I'm going to put that as an idea, to put a few videos online that I think are very good resources. I really love the, what's her name? She's called Luna. No, she's not Luna. She's Kayla. Shit. Loving BDSM. She's from Loving BDSM. Kayla and John Brownstone. John Brownstone, Kayla, Loving BDSM, and her books. Author at Loving BDSM. They have a fantastic podcast. Anyway, they're also in the they're in the bundle, of course. Where's their books? Come on. Well, anyway, get away. Where is it? So for submissives, one is definitely good is the submissive guide. I really love that one. That's for submissives, is a wonderful, a good one. Yeah, here's books to read. So many good books. Yeah, it depends on what you want, but there is a lot. Coming Monday, I'm doing an interview with Lee Harrington, and he wrote something about that. So there's so many books. I love Kayla and GB. Me too. I had such an amazing video. I think I posted it online last week. It was in my Patreon for a long time, but I posted online last week. So you should check it out. It's fantastic. And they have wonderful, 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 really good books. So there is a lot in books, but you need to find out. And it's a bit hard to figure it out what is good. So I promise I will make a video on what I find are good books. Promise. Is 45 minutes of impact play with a vlog a realistic goal for a new dom? That really depends on you, hey Joe. Really. I don't know. It depends on what you want as a dom. I'm also not, I don't know if the person that you're doming to, if that's interesting for them. Because if it's not interesting for them, why would you put it as a goal? I think it's always important to think about why you want to have that goal. Do you have any tips for new doms at degrading? Kayla Lords, thank you. Do you have any tips for new doms at degrading? Well, I have 2 videos about humiliation that are, I think, that are very valuable. So I would check those out. So that's a good one to start. Yeah, he makes very nice pedals also. Yeah, Artem. Yeah, they're not just beautiful, they're also made with so much love. I should really make some videos because I have so many nice resources. There's one, what I really like is there's not so much for doms because we have a collar. the submissives. But the dominants don't have a lot. But there is this couple from Austria, and they're making amazing bracelets and chains and belts. Well, how can it even be better than belts, isn't it? Right? She asked for that. Hey, Joe. She asked for that. Okay, cool. Well, then, if she asked for it, then it's definitely a good goal for you. And then it's a matter of practice. And flogging is not so complicated. How do you balance kids being in the house? Yes, absolutely. I have one. I have a video on the kids in the house because I do have kids. And also one of the questions, because I just started with one question to answer and there are more. And one of the questions is also how to handle it to be a mom. But I will expand it a bit to kids. I'm having so many questions. It's going to be a long night. And with kids. Okay, so now let's go into the next question. How do I find an experienced dom? It's a similar question. They're not dropping out of the sky, so you need to work for it. That makes sense. So first of all, think about how do you find a good boyfriend? A proper one, a nice one that treats you well? Well, that's also not so easy. So for that, first of all, what you need to think of is there's also, I think I also have a course on that, and I think it's free for, I don't know, I need to check. Maybe it's paid, but then it's 19 euros or something. Anyway, reef goat, that's a fantastic tip, by the way. Absolutely. Because degradation, there's a lot of how people think it's degrading is so different. So that's definitely a good tip. There's so much that I want to tell and so much that you want to know. I'm sorry, I'm a bit distracted and I'm so excited and I'm so happy that I'm doing this again. I should do this more often. I promise I'll make one after I come back. How did you know you were a submissive? That's also a good question. I didn't. I ran into my one of my boyfriends a while ago, and he was into BDSM for a long time. He knew that he was into that. I mean, he wasn't practicing in that sense. And what he did was a very simple thing. Is we were going to the sauna, and what he did was he put me on the sauna like this, with my hands on top of my head. This is pretty vulnerable, and he was just checking what happened, what I would do. And then when he saw that I was doing that and I was doing as he told me, because he told me, then he started the conversation with me and we talked about it. So I didn't know about it. I didn't even know what it was. I grew up in a very Christian family, and I had no clue. I didn't want to watch the 50 Shades of Grey videos because I was like, ooh, I'm not sure if that's for me. And what I did know is that I had a bit of a masochist in me, but I also didn't know that it was called that way. But I just found out that this is that I love rough sex. I love it when my boyfriends were. I don't need the nice. It's boring. So yeah, and then it was simply starting to explore and find out what it was and what there was, and then I was lucky because I found someone who was already into it. And that's, by the way, it's also possible to train a boyfriend. It sounds a bit strange, but to train a boyfriend to be, it's a Dutch accent, absolutely. Hi. But if you're looking for an experienced dom, the first question that I need to ask is, why would you want an experienced dom? It depends on your purpose. Everything is on purpose, guys. It all depends on your purpose. Are you looking for a long-term relationship? Then the question is, then the question, are you looking for a relationship? Then the question is, do you really want an experience relationship? Or do you want to play? Because that's a difference. For play parties, there it's a lot of different. I mean, first of all, there is something called munches, and that's just gatherings with other kinky people, and kinky people know other kinky people. Those people know other kinky people. By the way, I mean, there's no way to really, you cannot recognize them on the street, but some people have that. I mean, I know my first boyfriend that I felt deeply in love with, he entered the room, and I only realized that now because when I'm thinking about it, he came into the room. He was 17, I was 15. He came into the room with his arms around two girls, and I fell in love. Because like that's the guy that I wanted, and I get what I want always, so I got him. He was also very dominant. That's I could smell it, I guess. I had no clue, and I don't think, but my master, I don't think he would say from the outside that you would say that, because he's an introvert. Dominant people are not the loudest. There is no relationship between that, so you don't. Anyway, but if you're looking for resources, munches are a good place to go there. And you might be going into a fed life, but please check my video on how to do that right. And how I would do that is not just go there and tell them I want an experienced dom. And also, you don't really need to put on your profile that you need an experienced dom, because there's quite a lot of doms that are just like throwing themselves on you. Trust me, I have experience in that. But what I would do is just go into, there's lots of group with topics that will interest you, and just talk and see who is there. And then if you start to have a nice discussion, or someone is having is giving you a thing that's a remark that you like, and you start to talk, then it might be interesting to talk with someone. But I know that over 50% of kinky people meet each other in regular life, so then you have to work for that too. Enough on that. Let me see, what questions did I miss? I wonder if it changes after doing shadow work on oneself. If what changes? Submission? Because first of all, I don't believe in the word shadow. I know what shadow work is. I'm doing a lot of it in that work. But the point is that shadow work means that there is part of you that you see as less as the other part. That's how it's often seen. That's at least what most people see as shadow. I would just say it's a different side of you. And it's just what there is, and there is no right or wrong. So I don't think it changes. It might change that you accept it of yourself better, that it's a part of you, and that maybe you can enjoy it also. Thank you, Annette. I thought about this a lot. Guys, this is, if you're interested in it, Annette, I would definitely recommend to read my book. It's called Sex, Truth, and Freedom. It's somewhere on Amazon. I don't have the link here, I think. I can try. CF link. No, it's not working. Sorry. So it's called Sex, Truth, and Freedom. Sex, Truth, that I can do. Truth and Freedom. And I wrote it. It's about my journey, and there's a lot about shadow work and about spirituality, because I definitely, I'm working a lot with spiritual people. I don't see myself as very spiritual, and my dom was working when he was training me, and he was, at one point he was so frustrated. He said, I'm working since I was 18 to get enlightened, and you get into subspace and you're enlightened like in seconds. So I think there's a lot of spiritual work connecting to kink. And there's another book that I can recommend. It's called Sacred Kink. It's from Lee Harrington, that I admire anyway very much. It's really recommended. So am I religious? That depends on how you define religious. I believe there is more to life than just what we see. Does your dom give you daily tasks? Yes. Depends on the period, and depends on when I'm with him or not, and depends on where we are in our relationship. But he does sometimes, and sometimes he doesn't. There I have two. Yeah, it's called Sacred Kink. Loved her book, by the way. I recommend it. Thank you. Yeah. Does he dress you in kinky costumes? No, I dress myself in kinky costumes to please him. Okay, next question, because otherwise I will stay here forever. Tips for being a switch and taking the other role. Yeah, that's a really good one. First of all, my first tip would be switch with another person. If you want to switch together, which is possible, just make clear recommendations and find times. For instance, I have a couple, well, they're not a couple anymore, but they were both dominants. So they switched for each other. and they just had play nights. One day shares, and then they really prepared the whole thing, and then you're the victim this time. So then they switched as that. So making very clear agreements on what you want and what you don't want is very necessary. What I also would think is that if you play a night together, for instance, and you play, you want to play, build it up. So if you're the dominant and you know you're supposed to have the dominant role in the evening and you're going to play, start feeding each other with messages. Give him a simple assignment. I love it, especially when I have a sub who's working in an office and I tell them I want to see your ass. So and then it's a CIO, it's a CEO of a company. So when he goes to the bathroom and he's taking off his pants and then he's making a picture of his ass for me. Yeah, that's bringing me in the mood. Trust me, you can see that, huh? Okay, so that's nice. Yeah. I don't know what Noms is saying, but it's probably very important. Can you speak a moment out about polyamorous? If you don't mind, I'm stopping with taking questions. There's a lot about polyamory. There's one thing that I want to say about that I have. Polyamory, I believe that you can have, listen, if you have more kids, if you have one kid, the kid believes that there is one pie and that as soon that there is another pig, that there is another kid in the picture, then that he needs to share the pie. So there's a half pie for him and a half pie for his brother or sister, right? That's what people think when it goes about polyamory. So that's not it. You just get one pie for one kid and one pie for the other kid. It's different with time. So polyamory also, it needs to be trusted, and it's again that's exactly it's for some, and it can even be, that's also another one, that one of the partners is very much into polyamory and the other one is not, and that one person is fine with that. I had one relationship where because I don't have a problem with being polyamorous, if also not with my partner being a polyamorous. I do have a problem if he's getting me out of the picture when he's with that other person. For instance, then he went away for a week and I didn't hear from him for a week. That's out of my limits. Not the fact that he had another woman. On the other hand, he had a problem if I would be with someone else. So he told me that I couldn't. And we had a discussion and we had talked about it, and in the end I decided it's fine for me if you have someone else, even when you think that I shouldn't, because it's all about what you think. It's not like I can't have it so you can also not have it. That's not how it works. It's about really figuring out what makes you tick and what is important for you. So I hope that helps. Yay, you got Sacred Kink. Did you also find my book, or you already read it? I hope so. I just think that my book is really awesome. Yeah, I do. I mean, that's also John Brownstone and Kayla Lours are a wonderful example for that, for polyamory. And Lee Harrington also made a book on that. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, to top. That's a difference. And that's very good. And by the way, topping is something that you can do as a submissive as well. So that's if you want to switch in a relationship, that might also work. See, my wife and I have been poly for over a decade now. So there's plenty. I also have a friend who's poly for a long time. And there's also a lot, huh? And usually what I see with poly is polyamorous is not polygamy. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's also true. Yeah. But the example that I gave with the cake is the same. Not all poly people are into BDSM, and the other way around. Not all BDSM people are into poly. Yeah, both true. By the way, there is also a video about polyamory in my or polygamy, no polyamory in my on my channel where I say the same. Okay, I would like to say something about submission and kids. It's very simple. When my kids are with me, my kids are number one priority. So I can be submissive We have an extra safe word for that. And that's purple. And that's whenever he gives me an assignment and I can't do it because there's something with the kids, and even because there's someone visiting, we're on distance. We don't know. He doesn't know. He can't see that. I have a safe word that says purple. And it says, it means I would love to do it, but I can't right now because there is something else on my plate. And usually, I mean, my kids are with me 1 week up, week on, week off. So in the week that I have kids, in the weekend, we don't have playtime. Playtime is when the kids are away. So we have very specific, it's called Sex, Truth, and Freedom. We have very specific rules and times that we play. I will find the link for you. It's also in my, it's here in the links for sure. If you go here, you'll find the link. So that's one thing that I would do. And the second is I'm not hiding from my kids. I'm not putting it in their faces. So it means that I'm putting away my toys, for instance. But for instance, I'm having a leash in the night that I sleep with sometimes. It's there always. My youngest son likes to go fishing with it. I'm fine with it. I'm not going to take it away and feeling embarrassed about it. It's wonderful. And when my oldest son, when he asked me, like, what is it for? I said, that's because that's because mommy can't run away from you at night. He loves it. Just be a bit kind to yourself about that. It's part of your life and it's nothing to be ashamed of. And you need to find times that you can play. It requires a bit more planning, but well, kids require planning anyway. I hope that gives you a little bit of, I mean, I could do like an hour video about that. And I'm trying to keep my videos like 5 minutes all the time. And now mine's already 1.5 hours, but I'm enjoying it a lot. So, okay, ideas for online DS. Sorry, guys, I'm going to keep that one because, well, he's gone anyway. But there's so much on my channel about online DS that I think that's just go sit for it together and enjoy watching them. Tips for Switch, I did that. And negotiation, yeah, not yet, but that's yeah. I'm feeling that I'm getting tired. I'm also having trouble with my words. So I'm going to give myself a break and I'm going to say that this is my limit. So I really want to thank you for being with me. I want to thank you for, yeah, watching and connecting. Remember, if you buy the bundle and you send me the receipt, I'll give you a half an hour time where we can chat for longer about any topic that you want. I would love that. So wishing you a wonderful evening, day, whatever you are, middle of the night. And we'll see each other soon. Wonderful. Thank you, Annette. It was wonderful to having you here. You're the best, guys. I have the best followers, really. Yay.